A MIDI pack everyone is raving about. It seems to be everywhere. Well, the guys at Unison sent me one to check it out, so let's check it out together. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixFest TV. Hope you're having a great day. Before we start, please check the info box down below for my mixing courses on Pro Mix Academy, free plugins, special discounts, and of course links to the MIDI pack we are seeing today by Unison. And if you want to support the channel, but most important now, access to the exclusive members only content, an always growing library of in-depth mix and mastering videos and courses here on YouTube without having to go or sign to another site. Click the join button down here, see all the perks of becoming a MixFest TV member, which also includes mix consultations with me via Skype or email. Let's try this pack. All right, this is as simple as it gets. With Unison MIDI chord pack, I have the 2020 update. You get a folder with an enormous library of chords progression, all divided by category. So I'm gonna open this one with you, and you get a readme text, which is actually very good if you don't know anything about music theory. This is a quick walkthrough and it explains you the basic of chords, minor, major, triads, and all the names, so you get familiar with them if you absolutely don't know anything about music theory. So it's an interesting read as is. The Unison MIDI chord pack, when you open it, you have 12 main folders. Everything is divided by note. So if you already know the key that you want to work on for your song, you pick one of these folders based on that. Even if you don't know anything about music theory, and you maybe have a melody in your head, if you can hum it and you can, you know, with the keyboard find the root note, once you know that, you open the folder accordingly. And again, if you absolutely don't know anything about music theory, major chords are happy, minor chords are sad. You know, that's a first start. But let's start to open the first one and see what's inside each folder. So here the chords are gonna be divided in triads, which is simple chords, extended chords, so a little more complicated, and even more borrowed and modal chords, and then the fourth folder for chord progression. If you want inspiration, if you want to start fresh, and maybe you don't have that many ideas at the moment, I would suggest to start with the fourth folder, so the progression, because you already have several progression in there and you can mix and match and modify, and we will try to do just that. But let's quickly take a look at least at one example for each folder. For example, triads. I'm gonna go with A minor, and you can see all triads A minor. If I bring this here, and below that you have them all individual, so you can bring them in and combine whatever sequence you want, but you can also cut these and do the same thing. I'm just gonna build this one really quick just to show you. These were the simple triads, and then if we go back, we have extended chords. These are gonna be a little more complicated, a little more articulated. We can import a couple. Of course, my advice is start with the triad, start with something simple, and then as you build your song, you can add different variation and more complicated, more complex chords. But these are the extended major in this case. So let's see how this sounds. So it's very cool when you have the core of your song, you can go in and add some more complex chords to add variation, to add more complex texture. We have borrowed and modal chords. Again, let me import one and see a couple actually and see how they sound. That's a cool progression right there, okay? So it's super easy. Again, this is not a plugin, so there's not much to say. It's just to see what the options are, how the chords are organized. It's very easy to navigate. But like I said, if you want to start from scratch, my advice is start with the progression, because you already have the progressions here, literally. I'm gonna try to build something using minor progressions. Let's start with the first one, and let's see how this sounds. That's very cool. Let's go with the other one, second. That's very cool. Let's add the third. I want to keep this kind of sad and moody. So let me switch for this one. Let's see if it's better. Still not, that note, I'm not liking it. You know what? I'm just going to repeat the first one. Let's keep this simple. I'm just going to add one for the end. That's very cool. Let's add the drum to this. I'm just going to change this one and instead have this chord suspended there. Let me see. So pretty cool. You have pre-made progressions that you can tweak. As you can see, it's MIDI, so it's super easy. It takes 1 second. Let me try to build with the same chords, with the same progression, a bass line, okay? So I have Expand here loaded, just basic. I'm gonna pick a bass sound and try to build a bass line, just using the root notes of the same chord progression that I used in the first track. Let's remove these really quick. Hear how it sounds. That's really cool. In the same fashion, we can drag this one down here again. And mind you, Pro Tools is definitely not the right DAW for composing things like this, especially with MIDI. But this pack makes it actually much easier, you know, than with anything else. You can try to build a melody here. I'm gonna up this one an octave and use a piano for this and see if I can move notes around and cut and paste. I'm not gonna do anything complicated and just see what comes up. All right, you get the idea. We're not trying to make a hit. In the same fashion, we can go and copy this to another track on another instrument. Let's say we want to add some sort of choir or strings or something like that. I have a Mellotron here ready to go, and let's try with strings. There's also a choir that is pretty cool. All right, so super simple. Like I said, this is not a plugin, so there's not much to show, but I think it's a really, really cool tool to have, not just to write music and start the music from scratch, but also if you have an existing piece, you want to add arrangement to it, or maybe have a more complex arrangement, or even orchestration. We are just using the diatonic triads, which are the basic chords, okay? But you have the advanced progression, which is, we can try actually just, you know, going from here, instead of using the basic triad to build the same, pretty much the same concept, just using a bunch of them, one next to the other, and see, randomly picking them, okay? You get the idea. So you have so many variation. You want to alternate and you want to do like one triad and a more complex. And this is not just for this kind of music, like beats and stuff like that. You can try to build something a little more upbeat, like a dance track. So let's scratch all of this now. I'm gonna grab a simple loop from Loop Cloud to play like a dance techno beat. All right, let's open our pack. And let's change note. Let's go to E, progression, and diatonic triads, and I'm gonna go minor again. So I have an instance of codecs right here, ready to go with an arpeggiator kind of sound. So we have our chord progression. Let's see how it sounds. All right, I'm not a fan of this one. Let me change it with another one. Let's see if this one works better. Cool, works for me. So that easy. And the same way we can transport this up here. And I have an instance of expand here. I'm using just a normal synth bass for this, and we can build in the same way our bass line from the same progression that we are using right there. Now this is super basic stuff, of course, but this can be your starting point, and from here you can, you know, expand or change, do variations. All right, same way we want to add another type of sound to this one. We can try. Again, you get the idea. I'm not trying to make a hit, just to show you the pack, and it's really useful and it's really fun to play with. Let me scratch this all again, and let me pick another chill beat like this. All right, let's load another instrument here. I'm gonna use Analog Lab for this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is the beat we're starting with. I'm just gonna grab a couple of progressions. Let's do A. Let's try advanced progression. Let's start with this. Go with this ambient piano here. Let's add another one really quick. This one, I'm gonna use a triad, another triad here. And maybe I'll switch them around, you know? I'm gonna do this one here, and the simple triad here, and this one, the complex here again. Let's see how this sounds. There's a bass now. So once again, just examples. I think this is a really cool collection to have in your arsenal. Really super fun, and again, you just drag and drop, you load an instrument and you have plenty of inspiration. It comes, like I said, with over 1,000 chords in it, and being MIDI, you can mix and match and modify them the way you want on the fly. It takes 1 second, and I think it's around $60 or $70. Thank Unison for sending this out for me to check out. Definitely a keeper. I hope this video was useful for you guys. If you liked it, please don't forget to leave a like and share. Link is gonna be in the info box down below. Follow MixBuzzTV on Instagram and Facebook. There's a lot of giveaways going on those pages in the next weeks. Click the join button down here to see all the perks of becoming a MixBuzzTV member, mix consultation, and access to the exclusive in-depth mix and mastering courses. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so